The stakes are high. Two of the best teams in the Midwest playing for an opportunity to get to the championship game and then on to Williamsport. Game one of our doubleheader today. The champs from North Dakota against the champions from Minnesota. Right now, they're the last two standing in terms of undefeated natures. And even a loss today does not eliminate either of them. They'll just have to play their way back to the championship. Greetings, good morning. Jim Barber and John Gregory. And amazingly, these two teams, besides getting a good scout on each other, are familiar because, John, they have played each other.
Yeah, they certainly have. 10 and unders, 11 and unders. Both of these teams, know each other very well. And it was the Minnesota team beating this North Dakota team by one run in both of those ball games. So they know each other. Should be interesting today. A really good matchup.
Some of the stars to watch begin with North Dakota's Connor Holm. His bat right now is sizzling.
Connor Holm, you're going to see two sweet swinging left-handers here. 5 for 6 in this tournament. 4 runs, 2 RBI. He can hit it to the gap. He's a guy that hits it back up the middle. Very talented left-handed swinger on this side.
And he has been matched, John, by the coach's son, Anthony Pardo, who can pitch, but even better, he can hit.
Yeah, he can hit. You watch this 3 different looks here. Takes it the opposite direction. He'll drill one to right center field. He'll also take it back up the middle, too. So he's a talented left-handed swinger. Both of these guys are going to have to step up today. Good pitching on both of these staffs, so they're going to score some runs. It's going to be important to get out front early. We've shown that that's had a lot of success getting out early.
Yes, the batting averages for both teams are really, really good. We'll talk about that as we get into the game. Right now, weather is perfect. Low 80s, some breeze, low humidity. Baseball is next. Minnesota's starting pitcher today is Luke Deneke. And Luke has been given the green light to go as far and long, John, as necessary because this is the biggest game in this tournament to date.
Yep, and he's just the type of guy that can do that. Talking with their coaches before, they want him to get ahead in the count, and he's a guy that really minimizes walks. So he's going to do it with a fastball, curveball, but mainly fastball. This team is going to make you prove that you can hit the fastball before they start working in other pitches.
He'll deal with the Leininger boys, the identical twins. Adam will lead off. He'll catch today. His brother Jordan will bat second. Jordan swinging a hot bat as well, 5 for 8 with 4 runs scored. Then it's Connor Holm. You know all about him. Followed by the cleanup hitter. That's Drew Rarick, still looking for his first hit in the tournament, but he gets on base a lot. Batting fifth in the North Dakota lineup is Charlie Kalkbrenner. Then it's Landon Meyer, the shortstop. Andrew Kankelfritz, followed by Bomeyer and Ethan Welk. What must Adam Leininger be thinking right now as he approaches this game?
Well, he's probably thinking, you know what, this is what I was hoping for the past 3-4 years as we watched the Little League World Series, and he watched it too. You know, the dream of getting there, so close right now. A victory today can put him in the championship game, so I'm thinking, how can I get this done and help my team?
Mike Rarick is the head coach of North Dakota. Fun story about him and Drew pitching the other day. We'll get into that. And the communication between the two, and of course they're very close. And Blake Pemberton is the manager of Minnesota. All these coaches have competed against each other. They're all friends. And now today they play the biggest game in the tournament. Adam Leininger so far 0 for 6, but he has walked 3 times and scored twice. Big Papi fan, big Red Sox fan. Not a bad basketball player. Had a game winner in a Grand Am basketball tournament. And what he does do when he's not getting out with hits, which has been a challenge for him, is he's got a good eye up there.
Yep. Got to be patient at the plate.
Taking 2-0 for a strike.
You know, it was interesting you mentioned that basketball. Him and his brother really are the only 2 guys on this team that don't play hockey. They're baseball, basketball guys.
You know, in Fargo, that might be considered un-American.
Yes. But coach told us that if they did play hockey, they'd probably end up, because they're such good athletes, as being, you know, some of the best players out there too. But purely basketball, baseball for these guys.
Good for them. 2-2 pitch. Check a 2-1 pitch, now 2-2. A little bit of a scoreboard mix-up. It was a 2-2 count. That is a strikeout. So Adam Leininger out on strikes, 1 out.
Pitcher, number 7, Jordan Leininger.
Now 0 for 7 in the tournament. Here's Jordan, the twin brother, and by the red shoes. That's the difference indicator between the 2 twins. Pops it up in between pitcher and second base. Another hit for Jordan Leininger. He is now 6 for 9, John, in the tournament. He has already scored 4 times.
Hit them where they're not, and that was just one off, fisted off the handle, just kind of blooped up. Deneke not able to get to it. Made a heck of an effort to try to get there. Came in first and then kind of slipped a bit, but no chance to get him down the first base line once that thing landed.
And now Jordan Leininger on to second with the wild pitch. Connor Holm at the plate, hitting the number 3 spot. Been dreaming about the Little League World Series for a long time, and that dream to get to Williamsport getting closer to coming true. The winner gets to the championship game. The loser will have to fight their way back and play an additional game. Home Slice is his nickname. 5'8", 120, high roller. It's going to be a tough play. Everybody's safe. So 2 infield hits that didn't even go 60 feet.
Wow, are you kidding me? That's what happened. Luke out on the mound. Deneke has to be thinking 2 balls that it's really impossible to make a play on, and they've got runners on first and third as he bounds it right into the ground. Deneke again coming off the mound. No chance to get him. Even if he catches this thing, there's no play.
Swags to the plate. That's Drew Rarick. Runner going down. They will not contest him. So Connor Holm with a stolen base. And runners at second and third immediately in the first inning for this high-scoring North Dakota team, which in 2 games has outscored its opponents 19-2, out-hit them 18-9. The coach's son, who when he was pitching recently, as John found out today, actually shook off his dad with a signal or 2.
Yeah, his father's in the dugout. He calls all the pitches. And late in that ball game, Drew was in such a rhythm out on the mound, he started shaking off the catcher, and his dad was like, well, let him go with it. And he said on those pitches that he did shake off, he was able to strike him out.
So Dad was really happy and content. Luke Deneke has his second strikeout, so the runners in scoring position remain. A high fastball does the trick. Here's Charlie Kalbrenner, the second baseman. 1 for 5, with 4 runs batted in. And equally as important, an on-base percentage of .429.
I don't know if it's worth mentioning or not because we did the other day, but Deneke on the mound, just a little unique the way he yanks his head down, and his hat every single time basically falls off of his head as he delivers the pitch. Almost works twice as hard because he throws it, then he's got to bend down, pick up the hat every single time.
Whatever works. Mark Fidrich-like. I swear that the late Fidrich did the same thing with the Tigers. The bird.
Yeah. I think he just looked over at his third baseman or somebody and said, I can't keep my hat on the head.
And maybe he's growing.
Well, he's got some flow coming out of there.
And he strikes out the side, and even more importantly, gets the side out without a run since runners were at second and third.
For North Dakota in the top of the first inning.
So Adam Leininger, Drew Rare, and Charlie Kalbrenner all out on strikes to the Minnesota first when we get back to business.
1-7.
Luke Deneke struck out the side to save Minnesota in the first. Now it's Jordan Leininger's turn. Let's talk a little bit about Jordan as he plays pitch and catch with his identical twin, Adam.
Yeah, they've done that in the backyard many times throughout their career, and he's a fastball, curveball guy, but 2 types of breaking balls. He's got a slider along with a true breaking ball, but he'll feature that fastball too. But that slider, pretty devastating because he's a 3/4 arm guy, so that's going to break away from these right-handed hitters.
North Dakota, number 7, Jordan Leininger.
So it's Pemberton, Deneke, and Pardo 1, 2, and 3. Jackson Clough will hit 4th, known as Jack. Mason Hoheisel carries a strong bat, had a grand slam. 5th, and Dylan Kirchner. Henry Mayos, just 1 official at bat so far. Sam Poser and Evan Frecking rounds out the lineup. Minnesota batting .425 through the tournament. Chase Pemberton retired though on 1 pitch, 2 pitches actually, 1 out.
Luke Deneke has to say, how come I couldn't get one back to the mound like that? I had 2 guys beat it in, 1 guy beat it in the ground, 1 pop it up, and I'm diving all over the place.
And still, despite the fact that North Dakota had runners at second and third, John, he got out of it himself with back-to-back strikeouts. Now here's Deneke. Luke's having a good tournament, 3 for 6. He has scored 3 runs and has a run batted in. 2 teams playing for the right to get to the championship game undefeated, which puts them then a win away from Williamsport. Luke is out on strikes. So there are 2 outs in the Minnesota first inning for Anthony Pardo, and we highlighted him at the beginning. As we take a look at the first strikeout of the game for Jordan Leininger. And Pardo, this kid's got a special talent.
He does, and that's that left-handed swing, I think. We've seen him on the mound. We've seen him at the plate, and he's a guy that can hit it all over this park.
Now, he claims his special talent has nothing to do with baseball, that he flosses quickly. So, I think there are a number of dentists out
Is that good or bad?
in the world would like to get to know this kid. Work on some of their patients. Popped up. Out of play.
Think that's good hygiene, dental hygiene there?
Oh, absolutely.
Speed floss? I best better than no floss.
Well, you know
I
what?
guess.
The mere fact he does it
That's right.
puts him ahead of many of us. Change down the third base line. Fair. Hit the umpire. It's going to be a base hit. Well, you don't often see that.
He prevented that from going. I always talk about corner infielders knocking the ball down because if it gets by you, it's a double. This time they get helped out by the third base umpire.
That's Prince Lowe, by the way.
He gets in the way, unfortunately, and that's why he stands in foul territory. So if the ball hits them, you know, at least typically on a line drive they stand there, so they're in foul territory. But once that ball crosses the bag, he's in play.
Let's center umpires. We mentioned Prince Lowe at third. Home plate is Chris Ekstrom, John Bunick at first, and Scott Rosenberger at second. Jackson Clough, who homered at the state tournament, 3 for 6 in this regional, with a run batted in, 2 scored. 2 strikeouts for Jordan Leininger in the Minnesota first.
For Minnesota in the home half.
Started off to be a pitching gem. North Dakota begins with Landon Meyer, the number 6 hitter, in the second. Man, sometimes I show my age. That's third baseman Anthony Pardo. He flosses fast. There's a dance called the floss.
Yeah.
All right, so if you're lighting us up on Twitter and everything, we deserve it.
Wow. That's a whole different story when you're talking about
Yep.
flossing
Leading off the
in
top of the
the.
second for North
I'm done
Dakota,
reading these
number
bios.
2,
I'm going to leave it up to Clay Matvick and Chris Burke.
Let's just stick with favorite food.
Take us the rest of the way here. We'll be here tomorrow.
Favorite
Thank
food and
goodness.
nicknames.
Here's Landon Meyer to start the second. Yeah. Down the third base line. Speaking of Pardo, nice stop. And a good stretch. 1 out. Mason Hoheisel at all 6'2" had to use it. And then some. The catch and keep his
For North Dakota,
leg
number 5, center fielder,
on the bag.
Andrew
Speaking of
Kingsbury.
preventing a double down the left field line, Pardo with the backhand and a good throw to first.
This is Andrew Kankelfritz, the center fielder, batting 7th. Hit a grand slam in the state tournament. Here he's 3 for 5 with a couple of runs batted in. North Dakota coming into this game, batting .372 in the 2 games in the regional, and an on-base percentage off the chart, .571. Because prior to today's game, well, let's add in today's game.
Please return that foul ball to the nearest dugout.
They have 18 hits, 14 walks, 2 at-batsmen, and reached on error 5 times. And they had 2 on in the first, yet failed to score. They'll have 1 on here in the second and pass the center fielder. Kankel Fritz around second, will stretch it to 3. He'll make it. So North Dakota with another man in scoring position. Ball misplayed by Evan Frecking with 1 out here in the second.
Ball gets by you. You got a chance for 3 here under the glove in the outfield. Backed up well, but not in enough time, as you can see the speed to third base gets in there safely.
This is Bowden. Raymond Meyer at the plate, Bowmeyer. And they will not record it as an error and a hit. It goes as a triple. So a 3-base hit for Andrew Kankelfritz, who's having quite a tournament now. He now has 4 hits, 6 at-bats. Infield in at the corners, normal depth at second, and it's short. Well, the last time out, Deneke reared back and struck out 2. And that kept North Dakota at bay. Can he do it again? Here's 1, John.
Boy, he's got a good fastball. He's locating, moving in and out on that plate, and he's got his catcher back there, Kirshner, moving inside and out. This time he works the inside half of the plate and jams.
Now batting for North Dakota.
You can see didn't get a full extension on that, kind of pulled his hands in to try to get the big part of the bat on it, not able to do it for the big strikeout in the second out of the inning.
And it leaves it up to Ethan Welk, batting in the 9th position. Runner third is Andrew Kankelfritz, who got a triple. About ready to turn the lineup over to Adam Leiniger at the top. Ethan Welk, known as Dash, says he must try on his left sock before his right sock prior to a game. Nothing out of order. High chopper to the pitcher, mishandled, and it is 1-0 North Dakota. Was not an easy play for Luke Deneke. And he's now had 3 of those here in the game, John, in just an inning and 2/3.
Wow. Unfortunate for him that these balls are bounding right off the plate. Unable to come down with it. Looked like he was almost staring right up into the sun on that. They're going to give him a hit, and I don't blame him on that. That's a tough play to make coming off the mound there. You just wonder, that sun is right there in the direction that he was looking. Tough play to make.
Here's Adam Leiniger, 0 for 7 in the regional, struck out in the first. It's almost hard to believe that there have been 3 infield hits, and all have been handled or attempted to be handled by the pitcher Luke Deneke.
And none of them were easy. I mean, I like the scoring on all 3 of those plays. Really, you couldn't, no way to make any play on it.
And now Adam Leiniger reaches base. This is the 4th time he has been on base in this tournament, even though he doesn't have a hit.
North Dakota pitcher number 7, Jordan Leininger.
Here's the twin brother, Jordan. And when you talk to the 2 brothers prior to the game, as Blake Pemberton will try to settle things down with his pitcher, Luke Deneke.
Good visit to the mound to go out there. You can understand maybe the frustration that Deneke has just because those 3 balls that were hit right in front of the plate that he wasn't able to make a play on. The frustration, giving up that 1 run.
By the way, John, I dug deep in my interview with the Leinigers prior to the game and found out, this is an exclusive, that Adam loves potatoes. Jordan hates them, but he likes fries. It's a form of it. Adam loves country. Jordan hates country and likes new pop. You won't see any other network break that story this week.
That's good stuff. I like it.
They were both men of very few words today. Why
That's
not?
right.
It's a big game. Headed up the middle, base hit. Long throw to home is going to be late on the overthrow to third. Safe. 2-0 North Dakota. Jordan Leininger, 2 hits in this game. Now 7 in the tournament and 10 at-bats.
Boy, and this ball was hit as hard on the line as anyone we've seen in this tournament. Right back at Deneke as he ducks out there. Frecking trying to make a play at the plate, not in time. Good throw from the outfield. A strong arm out there, unable to get, well, because he scores the second run of the game.
Now Connor Holm. Jordan Leininger batting .700 in the tournament. Connor Holm with a first inning hit is hitting .857. That one gets away. Here comes the runner to score, and it's 3-0. The wild pitch. North Dakota adds a third run.
Yesterday we were talking about you have to be very careful as a runner at third base here. That ball can come right back off the wall, and the thing that'll allow you to score if it just gets away from the catcher, and that's what happened there is the ball just scooted away, didn't get to the backstop.
On out strikes is Connor Holm. That's a rarity in this regional, but 7 to the plate for North Dakota. 3 runs, 3 hits. Jordan Leininger had a huge hit to center field and plated 1. There's a triple as well. Minnesota with the middle of its lineup, beginning with Mason Hoheisel in the second. Very productive top of the second for North Dakota. Putting together 3 runs and 3 hits, and now a 3-0 lead, doing a little small ball and long ball with a triple and the RBI single to center. Well, we know this much. Minnesota's got plenty of firepower as well. And Jordan Leininger will face Mason Hoheisel, who already has a grand slam in this regional. That came against Kansas. He is 2 for 6. Almost a line drive to short and handled rather comfortably by the shortstop, Landon Meyer. 1 out.
Mike Rarick, head coach in the dugout, calls pitches, and I like the way he started that off to the big Hoheisel. Start him off with the breaking ball, showed him that, came back immediately with the fastball inside, tried to jam him. Really mixing up the pitch as well.
Here's Dylan Kirchner batting in the 6th position. Do you think Mike's a little more relaxed today, not having to call pitches for his son, which he was telling you made him pretty nervous?
Yeah. He said he was as nervous as when he used to pitch out there, but only because he didn't want to screw it up for his son. He was pitching so well. Could you imagine that at the dinner table? Dad, why'd you call breaking ball there? I wanted to throw fastball. Well, he did. He shook his dad off.
Sometimes kids know best.
Yep.
Dilly Dog is at the plate. Dylan Kirchner might be the toughest kid on his team, according to the coaches. Slow roller. Not going to be easy. Beats it out. Second hit of the game for Minnesota. Dylan Kirchner is aboard.
Good hustle down the line by Kirchner. Payback's coming, the infield hit.
Yeah.
For Minnesota, number 9, the right fielder.
No, if that
Henry
ball had a
Rios.
chance to go foul, I don't think so. Originally it hit that corner grass and started to go that direction, but straightened up.
All right, to the plate, Henry Danger Mios. Says Danger is his middle name. And in fact, his dad, one of the coaches, Dave, was well aware of it. The game a couple of years ago, the score was 19-18. Runners at second and third. Dad came out to talk to Danger and said, "What's your middle name?" He says, "Danger." He says, "Well, you got it here." And he walked back and he got out of the inning and they won the game.
I like it.
So, John, we've had 5 infield hits between the two teams. Why?
Sometimes you just can't explain baseball, you know, one of those things.
Most unusual beginning, although these two teams have a way to get on base just about any manner.
Well, we almost saw it again there, and you know, one of the reasons too is you get pitchers on the mound that are keeping the ball down in the strike zone. Guys are beating it down into the ground. We've seen a lot of strikeouts, especially with 2 strikes. These catchers are standing up. Pitchers trying to elevate that fastball and get guys to chase. Early in the count, these guys are beating it into the ground.
Strike 3 called. Third strikeout for Jordan Leiniger, and he does a nice job here of painting the corner.
Minnesota second baseman, number 2, Sam Poser.
Set up outside. Home plate umpire going to give you that every time.
Sam Poser, big fan of Brian Dozier. Now with the Los Angeles Dodgers, who homered in his first at bat in L.A. Quiet, hard-nosed kid. Runner at first, Dylan Kirchner with 2 outs. Well, this Minnesota team has plenty of offense. Has 15 runs in the first 2+ games. And a total of 19 hits. So at its clip, it's got plenty of time to come back.
Yep.
But difficulty is holding North Dakota to 3 runs. Ball gets away, runner down to second base and into scoring position. Poser batting in the 8th spot. Had hits in each of the games against Missouri and Kansas. Strike 3 called. Third strikeout for Jordan Leiniger. Right now, he has the better of the pitching duel. The end of 2 innings. It's North Dakota leading 3-0, and we get to the middle of the Fargo lineup when we come back here. On the strength of a couple RBI hits, North Dakota leading 3-0. Fargo is a newcomer to this tournament. Last year, Sioux Falls, same thing. Both eliminating the dominance that Rapid City held, John, for 2 decades.
Yeah.
Actually, closer to 3 if Do my math a little better.
Yep, Fargo just kind of swept through their state tournament. They were 3-0, outscoring their opponents 50-0. And they beat Canyon Lake, South Dakota, to get here by a score of 7-2, and they are excited for this opportunity. They're one win away from going to the championship game.
Game later this afternoon, the Great Lakes, 2 o'clock start Eastern time, 1 Central, will pit a couple of undefeated teams as well. Michigan and Indiana. The winner of that goes to the championship game of the Great Lakes. Michigan with all that firepower. Indiana, just a way to win. Drew Rarick struck out in his first appearance at the plate. He is 0 for 5 in the tournament. A run batted in and 3 walks. No weather delays here in the tournament today. Yesterday we were affected by 2 delays that resulted in about an hour each prior to first pitch, and then the final game started just 15 minutes late. Everybody was quite pleased, though, that all 4 games went off pretty much without a hitch. .42 pitches and counting for Luke Deneke. Going the opposite way and battling the sun. Henry Miles, 1 out. Charlie Kalbrenner to the plate, struck out to end the North Dakota first.
For North Dakota, number 8, second baseman
Miles
Charlie
had to go
Kalbrenner.
quite a bit on that one. They were running in, as you said, looking up, no glasses, no sunglasses on out there, fighting the sun to make the play.
Charlie was so nervous before a recent game that he did what he always does. Got in the back of the car and they played mini baseball. Then arrived at the park, probably went, oh yeah, we got something else to do here today. Well, bullet, foul. Nearly headed into the Fargo dugout. Landon Meyer, the number 6 hitter in the Fargo lineup, would follow. 3-0 in favor of North Dakota. Minnesota with just a mild threat in the second with a runner at second and 1 out, failing to score.
That was a good look at Dylan Kirshner, the catcher, standing up with that 2 strikes as we described, trying to get the hitter, no balls, 2 strikes, to chase that fastball. As he looks into the dugout and gets his signs from Blake Pemberton.
Bounce to third. Eats up the third baseman. It's going to be a tough play for Anthony Pardo. And Charlie Kalbrenner has reached base for the second time in the regional.
I like how you said eats him up down at third base, because that's the case. In between hop that scoops up onto the chest. Not an easy play right there, the in-betweener.
For North Dakota, number 2, the shortstop, Landon Meyer.
And the hits keep on coming. That's 6 now for North Dakota.
I like that scoring too. Somebody could have said that was an error, but that ball, again, played him, wasn't able to play the ball.
If we think about it, sometimes these games are scored like they would be in the major leagues, and that would be a hit in the majors probably.
Yep.
Down to second base goes Charlie Kalbrenner. When you're facing such good quality opposition, any type of pass ball, wild pitch, you're going to see some advancement on, and when that advancement happens, somebody gets in a scoring position.
Yep.
And here comes Fargo once again. Good stop by Deneke. That was headed to center field. 2 outs in the inning. Charlie Kalbrenner at third base.
Amazing. You get the bullet back to the mound. He's able to get a glove on it. You get 3 other chinkers that are off the bat and he can't make plays on, but the one that's hit the hardest, he's able to get the out. Way to field your position out there. Not easy to do on that ball hit so hard back to the mound.
Mike Rarick is likely going to look for a pinch hitter here or a pinch runner.
Pitch hitting for North Dakota.
And it'll be Jake Jaroszewski stepping in for Andrew Kankelfritz. Jake has some big plans. All the kids were asked, John, what would happen if you won the lottery? Jake said, I would buy the Minnesota Twins, and I would sign Bryce Harper in the offseason.
Well, I think both of those things are possible.
Yeah. Of course, the lottery's got to be awfully large to handle the Bryce Harper thing, don't you think?
Exactly. It's going to cost them about everything after taxes.
Strike 3 called. Third consecutive inning that Luke Deneke, the pitcher, ends it with a strikeout. Fargo threatens, does not score. Minnesota about to turn its lineup over in the third. The Little League Grow the Game grant has distributed over $2 million at the local level. Grant funding provides local Little Leagues resources for general improvement and to expand or establish softball challenger division and urban initiative programs. For more information, visit littleleague.org/grow the game. Jim Barber, John Gregory, it has all been slanted toward North Dakota. 3-run, 6 hits through the first 3 innings. To start the bottom of the third, Evan Frecking with a beautiful bunt. And the first time today, Minnesota has its leadoff hitter aboard, and that'll turn the lineup over to Chase Pemberton.
And what a way to start your half of the inning there. Beautiful bunt down the line. Couldn't have been placed any better out there.
For Minnesota, shortstop,
Good speed
number
down
10,
the line, but even a better bunt, I don't care. No one's going to get you on that play.
We're going to have a statistic for infield hits. 4 for North Dakota and now 3 for Minnesota. Toward the first baseman. Sure out. At first, 1 out. So Connor Holm handles without any difficulty. Evan Frecking goes to second base.
Number 11, Luke Deneke.
And here's Luke Deneke, who says he can juggle and spin a basketball on any finger. That's a talent. Right now, he'd settle for a base hit. Ooh! He's okay. He's headed to first base. And good sportsmanship by Jordan Leininger. Comes over and gives him a slap by the hand.
Minnesota third baseman.
We have had
7,
some scary
Anthony
moments. We've had
Fargo.
several players hitting the helmet, and of course, Matthew McRae Jr. got hit in the face yesterday. Was probably the scariest of all. That was on Iowa's 2-1 extra inning victory over Missouri. Chance for Minnesota to rally here with Anthony Pardo, their best hitter at the plate.
Trying to keep him off balance with those breaking ball, mixing it up well. Now looks fastball.
He is 5 for 7 in the regional. That's a 7-14 clip. And he's been very difficult, John, just to keep off the bases, period. He has a couple of walks to go with that.
Yeah. Very good approach at the plate. It's timing impeccable.
Reaching out and staying alive there.
Here's that fastball up in the strike zone. There's Leininger behind the plate. Adams stands up, but that's what makes Pardo such a good hitter. He was able to fight that off.
But swings a one outside the zone. And the few times he has retired in disgust, and there are now 2 outs with 2 men aboard.
Yeah, he had that look on his face like, did that just happen? Not knowing. Nice breaking ball. Started outside, was curling back into the inside corner.
Jack Clough, who struck out the first time up, 2 for 4 with a couple of runs scored in the regional and a run batted in. Headed to second base. Inning over, despite the fact Minnesota threatens. It leaves 2. Halfway through our game here on Thursday between unbeaten 3-0 North Dakota.
2 runners.
Just in case you were not sure about mandatory play for Little League, these 2 teams have 13 players, so each player must bat once, does not have to make it to the field. The manager refuses to insert players into the lineup. That's an immediate ejection and removal throughout the entire tournament. Logan Sullivan will lead off for Mike Rarick's North Dakota team in the 4th.
Fourth for North Dakota. Pinch hitting, number 10, Logan Sullivan.
Batting in the 8th position, then Ethan Welk is scheduled to hit next. And Logan must have a Snickers before a game, John. That's his required reading. Not going to happen otherwise. He won't play.
Well, you got to, when you're hungry, you need that snack, right?
Yeah. I shouldn't say he won't play. Might not play well.
Yeah, well, if it makes you feel good, go ahead and eat it. It's like putting on that left sock first, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter whether it's eating a Snickers or putting a left sock on. You got to feel comfortable.
As a player, I would prefer the Snickers. But get your point. Well, the hat now is staying on, so maybe there's some, can't use substances, but must be doing something different.
I'm going to bet off here.
Yep. Count is 2-2 on Logan.
He either needs a haircut or a smaller hat, right?
I'd go for the smaller hat.
Or a bigger hat. What should it be?
Yeah, it would have to be bigger, I would think. But love the flowing locks, though.
Yeah. I was looking at Miles out in right field. I thought that was Deneke that moved out there when I first looked at him when he was going after that fly ball.
They look similar, don't they? 2-2 pitch is a mile-high pop-up toward left and dropping. Jack Clough, Chase Pemberton, both in the neighborhood. So did the sun affect that fly ball by Logan Sullivan?
It could have. Clough, you can see the sunglasses flashing as he was coming in here. And the ball dropped. Looked like he was calling him off. We couldn't really hear from here, but Pemberton did the right thing if he was called off, and that's turn away and let the outfielder know that's clearly his ball. But ball falls in there, so we'll never know how that communication went.
Tommy Simon will pitch hit in the 9th position. So now for the record, 7 hits for Fargo. And for the North Dakota State champions, 4 have been infield hits. 1 has been a bloop between left and center hit, or left and short. Bunt down the first base line, well placed. Deneke off the mound to make the tag, but a good sacrifice by Tommy Simon. Runner at second, 1 out.
Boy, I'm telling you, Deneke's going to need an ice bath after this game, as active as he's been out on the mound, diving all over the place, fielding ground balls, fielding bunts.
That's the 5th chance for him, John.
Yes.
He has been able to record an assist and then the unassisted putout. Mighty swing by Adam Leiniger, who, despite the fact is not having a good solid tournament at the plate, has managed to score 3 times, walk 3 times, and get hit by a batter, or hit by a pitch.
Now, the one thing, he is at this top of the lineup for a reason. He's a guy that normally gets on bases for you, so if anybody's due, he is the guy in this lineup that's due.
During the regular season, both he and Jordan cranked out a lot of homers. Roughly 20 apiece. Been a little quieter here, as you might imagine, because of the level of competition. Ball 2 strikes. 2 outs now in the 4th.
Yeah,
Still, that's a good confidence by Mike Rarick, the manager, to say, hey, we're still going to bunt a man in position for you, Adam, because we know you can hit.
No question about it.
Number 7.
Now, the one thing sometimes you say, well, this guy's leading these pitching staff, and this is his first year behind the plate. You get to this level and you're 1 win away or 2 wins away from going to Little League World Series. Sometimes you give up some of the hitting to make sure you're leading your pitching staff out there. I'm sure he wants to participate in the run scoring and hits, but he's doing a great job back there behind the dish.
Catching his twin brother today. Jordan Leiniger, 2 for 2, and now 7 for 10 in a regional. He has been, at times, nearly impossible to get out. He, along with his brother Adam, paid tribute to a sister who passed away many years ago. And that was Amanda, who would have been 18 years of age at this point. And in fact, Jordan still offers a prayer to her prior to the game.
Nice. As coaches said, you know, you asked them questions beforehand and they didn't. Men have not a lot of words, and that coach said because they're very humble.
Now the 4th consecutive inning that Luke Deneke leaves the mound with a strikeout. His team needs runs, though, and they'll lead off with Mason Hoheiser in the Minnesota 4th, down 3.
Defensively for North Dakota, re-entering
Coon
in
Rapids
right
Little
field,
League has
number 11,
history
Bo Meyer.
with the World
And
Series.
re-entering in left
Third
field,
straight
number
appearance
3,
here in the regionals in
Ethan
2016. Won a couple of games. Winless last year, as you know, already 2-0 this year. The manager is Blake Pemberton. We ask him,
Leading off the
let's
bottom
take a
of the
look at
fourth
Dave
for
Myos,
Minnesota,
the third base
first
coach.
baseman, 17.
Blake is in the dugout. Ryan Pardo at first. And Blake was telling us that he started thinking about the Little League World Series and the chance to get to Williamsport several seasons ago when the kids were younger, blowing through all the state tournament championships as youngsters, and Williamsport started to get on the radar.
We mentioned some of the team, or one of the teams that they played at that 10 and under and 11 and under was this Fargo, North Dakota team. They beat them twice. The 2 times they've faced each other, so these kids know each other. 1-0 or 1-run ball games in those 2 games. But boy, do things change over those 2 years, right? We see some kids growing 6-7 inches, and
yes,
the guys that were 10 and under may be a little bit different now that they're 12.
Mason Hoheiser very patient at the plate. Has worked the count to 3-2. And Jordan Leininger came back and got him. Now 36 of 51 pitches have been for strikes.
Elevate the fastball. Even a guy that's 6'2" at the plate, you can still get it around his chest and it can't catch up to it.
Number 5, Jaden Kopp.
Here's Jaden Kopp, pinch hitting for Dylan Kitchener. And Kirchner may still get a chance to bat here, as he has one of the team's 3 hits. Lots of impressive things about pitcher Jordan Leininger, but the one thing I think that stands out in this tournament is no walks to this point. And we typically see the teams that have dominated are walking few people, but receiving a great deal of passes in exchange. They just know what to look for at the plate, how to lay off, and how to work the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, we talk scoring all the time and how many runs they've scored, but when it comes down to the championships in the Little League World Series, it's the team that have guys like that that can throw that breaking ball, get those strikeouts, and set guys down. It's pitching and defense.
Jordan Leininger has 7 strikeouts in the game.
Here comes a look at that breaking ball. He said kind of 3/4 arm slot, and that breaking ball kind of breaks away. To me, he's a little bit more overhand than what maybe I was thinking he was going to be.
Max Hoheiser to the plate.
Either way, his location's been spot on today.
This inning began when Mason Hoheisel was out on strikes. Then Jaden Kopp struck out. And now here's Max Hoheisel. Well, Hoheisel's dad, Tony, by the way, works security for the Minnesota Twins. Minnesota in Cleveland last night in a lengthy rain delay. Jordan Leininger strikes out the side for the first time today. And North Dakota is 6 outs away for the championship game.
No runs, no
It's been a masterpiece so far.
Pitch count for North Dakota.
After Andrew Kankelfritz had tripled in the second, Ethan Walka, a seeing-eye hit to score the first run. And moments later, Jordan Leininger with a bullet to center field to score the second run. And then a ball that gets away results in the third run, and that's the scoring in this game.
Leading off the top
Find
of
a
the
way to
fifth
get
inning,
on,
North Dakota.
find a way to
First
get him
baseman,
over,
number 12,
and eventually
Connor Holmes.
you'll find a way across the plate, even with a pass ball.
You almost feel like Luke Deneke deserves better. He has thrown his pitches 77% of the time for strikes, 54 of 70, and yet trails 3-0.
7 hits for North Dakota. At least 3 of those haven't gotten past the mound, I think.
Sometimes baseball's not very fair.
No.
Connor Holm at the plate, 6 for 8 in the regional. In fact, it was a rare time they got him out the last time when he struck out. Connor's joke of the day is, why don't cannibals eat clowns? And the answer is they taste funny.
You're still dealing.
I never thought about that. Count goes at 3 balls, 2 strikes. Middle of the North Dakota lineup in the 5th in a 6-inning game. The winner to the championship, the loser comes back tomorrow to play in an elimination game.
Please return that foul ball.
Both teams have got their pitching staff set up nicely for regardless of what happens today, as the manager spoke to us about it prior to the game. And Connor Holmes starts the 5th inning with a walk.
Well, every time you look up, it seems like North Dakota has their leadoff guy on.
Third baseman, Drew Rarick.
And we don't talk about on-base percentage too often, only because the numbers we give you often are batting averages. But in Connor Holmes' case, he's been on base 9 of 11 times. Drew Rarick is 0 for 2 today.
Which
now
may
North
be,
Dakota playing with house money could probably send the runner down here and go ahead and challenge Dylan Kirchner.
yeah. I was going to say, in addition to that, being on base 9 of 11 times, it's probably a better stat than looking at the batting average side of things.
Yep. Luke Deneke's day is practically done. He'll be approaching 85 pitches. Trying to get the first out here in the 5th. Strike 3 call. It's a drop third. And there are going to be runners here at first and second. Actually, the runner cannot advance. The batter cannot advance, so that's a strikeout, even though Drew made it interesting. So he is out on strikes. The base runner, Connor Holm, can move, and he does to second base in a scoring position.
Charlie Kalbrenner.
And here's Charlie Kalbrenner. Charlie's 1 for 2 today. 2 for 7 in the regional. Base hit left field. Station to station baseball as Connor Holm stops at third. Second into the game for Kalbrenner. Here comes Fargo again.
Get that first guy on, find a way to get him over, and eventually get him to third base, and you can score on that pass ball. Nice swing of the left-hander, taken into left field. You love to see that.
For North
The
Dakota,
left side,
number
Holm
2,
holding
the
up.
shortstop,
Good
Landon
call as
Meyer.
Clough out in left field with a strong arm to the plate.
So John now first and third for Landon Meyer, 0 for 2 in the game. Infield back at double play depth. Runner easily taking second base. I always wonder, we don't see Little League catchers challenge a lot, should they?
Very difficult. I mean, by the time, because you want to prevent that run from scoring in such short base paths.
He's going to score a couple. Landon Meyer comes through, 5-0. North Dakota. Little insurance here in the 5th.
Boy, they've been putting pressure on this Minnesota defense all day by getting their top guys in order on with no outs and finding a way to get them over again. Same thing.
Kankel Fritz to center field. Here comes the runner home. 6-0 North Dakota. And the path to Williamsport is getting clearer.
We're going to get a visit here to the mound, and again, hitting them where they're not. Finding a way through the middle. And another run scores. Boy, whether it's hitting the ball out in front of home plate, popping it over the pitcher's head, or finding a way through the infield, North Dakota today, everything has gone their way.
Chase Pemberton will be the new pitcher. We will introduce him to you. We come back. It's a 3-run fifth for North Dakota, and still batting. Luke Deneke back in the field position right now. His day is done. Tough second inning and an even tougher fifth inning. Did have the strikeout working, though, as he was able to end 4 innings, the first 4 he got through, with a punch-out.
Well, I tell you, he had to work extremely hard today. Some unfavorable to him hits. North Dakota, some days you just have it where you hit it in the right location, and they did against him.
Sure seems, John, as if North Dakota has done that through the entire tournament, because at this point, with the 1, 2, 3 hits they've had in this inning, gives them 10 for the game. They now have 26 for the regional.
It's part of that, I think, depth in the lineup that we've been talking about. You just like the look of this team because 1 through 9 and guys off the bench all can produce for you.
Jackson and Merriman at the plate. Ball gets away from the catcher. On the second base goes Andrew Kankelfritz. And as is the case with all good teams, they do not let up. Doesn't matter what the margin is. Luke Deneke able to get 9 of the 13 outs on strikeouts, but allowed 6 runs, 10 hits. And it is looking more and more like Fargo is going to have a seat at the table for the championship.
Well, when you talk about a 9 strikeout outing, you would think that things would be a little bit closer for you.
Oh, yes, 1-0 game maybe. On the change, strike 3, runner out at first. In the meantime, Andrew Kankelfritz to third. Here comes Ethan Welk and an RBI single in the second inning and score.
North Dakota left fielder number 3, Ethan Welk.
Welk ducked right under that fastball. Just missed the helmet. Some intensity in those eyes there.
Yeah. Dash at the plate. 2 outs, top of the 5th. Toward left field. Jack Clough handles, inning over. Big inning, though, for North Dakota. 7 to the plate. 3 score. It is now 6-0 in favor of Fargo.
North Dakota.
We invite you to catch all the excitement of the Little League World Series, including how to visit Williamsport, scores, stats, highlights, and more. Visit littleleague.org or follow Alone on social media with hashtag LLWS. Jim Bartlett, John Gregory. Our terrific ESPN crew. We are to the bottom of the 5th, and Zach Novak will lead off as a pinch hitter for Sam Poser.
Minnesota half of the 5th, number 48.
And how do they solve
Novak.
Jordan Leininger, who just got done striking out the side, John, in the 4th?
Tough to do it. You know, some of those guys, he's one of those guys, if you don't get to him early, you know, right now he's sitting at 61 pitches, and he's going to be able to go the distance. So he's been all around the plate today.
You asked manager Blake Pemberton of Minnesota what it'd be like to get to the championship game and then get to Williamsport. He said, you know, to get this close to Williamsport and to lose and not make it there would be a huge disappointment.
Sure.
But I think he's been pleased so far prior to today, certainly, to find out where his team stood, because I think it was a big question. Can we compete on this level? 4 consecutive strikeouts now for Jordan Leininger, and for the game, he's at 9.
Location.
Pinch hitting for Minnesota.
If his brother's not set up right there, I don't know if he gets that call, but because Adam behind the plate is set up on that outside corner, he's going to get that strike. Catcher set up inside and has to reach there, probably does not get the call.
Here's a batter, Chuck Stenzel. By the way, John, did you know that he has his own YouTube channel?
Yes.
You can look him up on Chuck Stenz, S-T-E-N-Z.
You know, I did.
How'd he do? How's it look?
Good. It was I believe it was rockets. He has model rockets taken off.
Talented kid. 3 balls, 1 strike. They need base runners badly here in the 5th inning.
You know, you were talking about this team, wondering, you know, where they stand coming into this regional. I think all the coaches really wonder, you know, they compete their state level and they know the success that they had there, but how do you fit against a North Dakota team or teams from different states? And you wonder, because this team through the state championship was 3-0, and I'm talking Minnesota here. As you see the next swing and a miss strikeout. But this team was 3-0, and they outscored their opponents 56-3. So
yeah,
you
this
wonder.
regional's the litmus test, and
Yes.
now Jordan Leininger is really dialed in. He has struck out
Pitcher, number
5
10,
in a row.
Pemberton.
And unfortunately, sometimes when you dominate in your competition, it gives you a false sense of security.
Yes, it does.
North Dakota now 3 outs away from the championship game after 5. 6-0. Fargo, Little League.
In the home half of the 5th inning.
Welcome back. Final regularly scheduled inning. Little League World Series champions for the Midwest. South Dakota last year, Iowa previously, Missouri, South Dakota, and Iowa. And I would say right now, just based on what we are seeing today, North Dakota has become your odds-on favorites to add its name to the list.
Leading off the top of the 6th inning for North Dakota, the catcher, number 9, Adam Leininger.
Top of the North Dakota order, Adam Leininger. Towards second base. Sam Poser handles one out. The beauty of getting to the final game now as an undefeated team is obvious. You've got some time off. Play today, don't play again until Saturday. Catch your breath,
pitcher, number 7,
get everybody healed up if there's a problem, and watch the other teams. Hopefully, in your feeling, battle 20 innings for each game in the hot sun.
Yeah. Now the good thing about it, as you said, is they're set up perfectly from the pitching standpoint. Charlie Kalbrenner and Drew Rarick, both of those guys will have the ability to throw, so 2 ineligible pitchers today. With that day off, Rarick will have to sit out the next game, but could be ready for that championship game if they had to play in the loser's bracket.
Yeah, we saw how good Drew was in his recent performance. Toward third base, Anthony Pardo, the long throw, good play, 2 outs. Peeking ahead at the Minnesota 6th, heart of the order, Luke Deneke, Anthony Pardo, Jack Clough.
For North Dakota, number 12, the first baseman, Connor Holm.
Now Connor Holm reached on an infield single, struck out, walked and scored. It is a 3-up and 3-down inning for pitcher Chase Pemberton. All infield groundouts. Last chance now for Minnesota.
For North Dakota at the top of the 6th.
And before we head to commercial break,
left.
apparently there will be a challenge.
For Chase Pemberton in the
I thought we'd go the whole game without one. I should know better.
I don't think this will take very long here, but maybe North Dakota thinking, well, I have it, might as well use it.
The rules regarding the challenges is that each team has 2 of them. And I think you're right. That looks like the call on the field should stand. So if you lose any of your challenges, in fact, if you lose 2, you'd be out. So now, much coveted commercial break that we promised you. Coming up. Why is North Dakota so good and still undefeated? Let's start with the pitching of Jordan Leininger today, who had his strikeout machine in order.
All around the plate all day long. You can see him peppering the corners, inside, outside, working up and down. As you take a look at his numbers today, 5 innings pitched, just 3 hits, no walks, and 10 strikeouts. More impressive than 10 strikeouts to me is no guys, no free passes, and that's why this run counts at 0 right now for Minnesota.
And in position, John, to go the distance. Luke Deneke, 0 for 1, hit by a pitch, starts the Minnesota 6th. Towards second base and into center field. Good beginning for Minnesota, which will need a lot of that to have a chance.
Now no give up in this Minnesota team. We had mentioned 3-0 in the state tournament, 56-3. The only adversity they really had was they were down 2-0 in the district tournament early in that game, but won it pretty easily. So you have to go all the way back to their district play before this team was behind or had any adversity at all.
Even a loss for Minnesota is not devastating because this is the last day of modified double elimination as Pardo singles to right field. Runner heading around third is going to try to score, and he is out. Probably an unnecessary risk there, John, I would think.
I concur with that. You know, you need the 6. The 1's not going to do much for you, but how about the throw from Bo Meyer out in right field? One hopper to the plate and a nice tag by Leininger, but wow, Bo Meyer with a nice strong arm. Doesn't short hop his catcher.
North Dakota has played almost errorless baseball, just 1 error in the 3 games. And then the terrific throw by Bo Meyer. So now 2 outs away from the championship.
Pitching and defense, right?
1-2 combination, don't you think? Always. Jack Clough. Base runner is Anthony Pardo. A high chopper, and that will go foul.
78 pitches now for Jordan on the mound. If he stays as efficient as he has been, should be able to finish this thing out, assuming Minnesota doesn't do something big here.
Could get a double play, and that would finish things out. North Dakota wins of 15-1 and 4-1. Ahead 6-0 today. Strike 3 called. Jordan Leininger 1 out away from completing a gem.
And his North Dakota faithful up there in the stands as you see that fastball again. Great location. His brother doesn't even move the mitt.
Mason Hoheisel, last hope with 5 pitches remaining for Leininger. Oh, he might be overly excited right now to try to finish things up.
How about that throw?
Yeah.
Leininger behind the plate.
From the other Leininger at him. 2 balls and a strike.
Pretty good move putting him behind the plate. I think he's got a future back there. If basketball doesn't work out for him, maybe catching will.
Back-to-back changeups. He's a pitch away as Jordan from completing a 6-inning shutout. Base hit up the middle. Anthony Pardo stops at third base with 2 outs. That was hit hard. So now Jordan Leininger has an opportunity to finish up the game against Dylan Kirchner.
Yeah, that's about the hardest ball we've seen hit off of Jordan today. Right back at the box. Now at 84 pitches, so this is going to be his last hitter regardless of what happens here.
Strike 1. I'm assuming that Jordan would have loved the shutout, but more importantly now is getting the final out without having to go to the pen. And he is a strike away from that. Excuse me, runner's still at first and third, so shutout still intact. So 2 strikes, 2 outs, 6-0 lead.
Jordan Leininger wants this victory. Home plate umpire said, wait for me.
And again, baseball allows, Little League Baseball, for you to extend your pitch count beyond the limit. As long as it finishes up with a batter that you began with here in this situation, Dylan Kirchner. Ball, 2 strikes.
Good pitch right there. Tried to get him to bite on that breaking ball way outside.
Well, I think Dylan Kirchner would like to drive the pitch count up to 100 and then find a way to get a walk.
Yes, he'd love to do that. He's a battler. At the plate, on the mound, wherever he is.
Can Jordan Leininger finish things here? Yes, he can. What a pitching effort. 6-hit shutout.
For Minnesota in the bottom of the 6th, no runs, 3 hits, 2 runners left on base.
12
Final pitch count
strikeouts
for Jordan Leininger,
and no walks.
9-0.
And North Dakota to the championship
Final
game.
score here.
Now,
this
congratulations to
afternoon.
North Dakota. As we mentioned before, this was game 3 of a 3-year series. And North Dakota finally gets the victory after losing the first 2 by 1 run when they were a little bit younger. And they win the big one here as they have an opportunity, as you mentioned, to play in that championship game. Minnesota with an opportunity to fight back.
Minnesota will play tomorrow in a consolation game. In the meantime, it is time off now. 72 hours for North Dakota. Our lineup now, Iowa and Kansas, an elimination game tomorrow on ESPN in the Midwest. Minnesota will face the winner of that game Friday at 11 on ESPN. And then it's the North Dakota Fargo Little League All-Stars against the winner of Game 9 on Saturday at 11. For John Gregory, I'm Jim Barber. Thank you for joining us. Back at 2 o'clock with the Great Lakes Regional Semifinals. That'll match up Michigan and Indiana. Today in Game 1, it's all North Dakota. An impressive 6-0 win, capping a 3-game sweep so far here in the regionals.